wanted this to be wide.
We're live.
Really?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I still see scheduled over there, but
Mine says
it
live
gets
14 seconds,
okay.
16,
Boom.
17.
We're
I
gonna go
don't
with
know
what yours
why.
say.
Like I've been talking to people for years, and for some reason I am absolutely nervous.
Because it's our energy. You know what I'm saying? They like,
And it's new.
and it's
And it's
great.
new. It's new and it's fresh. So, if you don't mind, I know we talked about all this intro stuff, but can we just
Mm.
jump in?
We can't. Well, we
Do
at least got to let the people know what who we are, where we at, or something.
Yes, let's let the know people know who we are and where we're at. I'll
Okay,
let
you
you
go
go.
first. Okay. Okay, y'all. Hey, welcome
Hey,
to Black
everybody.
Light Matters.
Black Light
Okay.
Matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's cute. I really do like the name. So maybe we should just have a little conversation about what brought this about.
Please. Well,
Yeah.
you have to be the one to start because the seed was planted with you.
Seed was planted. I could make so many innuendos about that.
I know you could.
But so I wanted to do a podcast where I can talk to somebody. That was the selfish truth about it. I just wanted to be able to have a conversation with someone I respected, someone whose perspective I think is interesting about a whole bunch of shit. And you are the one and only phone call I ever made. I don't know if you ever knew that,
I did
but
not know that.
you are the
But
only call I made, and proudest judgment call I've made yet. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about shit that matters to us, and I think that we are so different in a whole bunch of different ways that a good conversation has got to come out of it. Has got to come
I
out of
mean,
it.
and we've also had really beautiful connections and conversations before, and so it kind of really just lends itself to this platform. For me, I was so grateful that you called me because I had been talking to Spirit like, look, I want to do a podcast. Like it's there. It's
Mm-hmm.
been requested of me from people. Um, and I really enjoy collaboration and co-creation. It's a foundational principle in my life, right? Nothing is made alone. Everything is a co-creation. Whether you think it's just you and like your spirits or you and an actual other physical being. Like, but everything is a co-creation. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So then let's talk about this first conversation because I don't want to spill too many beans, but we want to talk about interracial dating, right? Right.
Yes.
So my best friend, I was on the phone with my best friend right before we got here, right? And he said, you don't like dating white people, right? And I was like, I don't have any issue with interracial dating. I just have issue with white privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had an experience like that? Like a run in with white privilege in a dating scenario?
Absolutely. So, for complete transparency, y'all, you may not know, honey, because I'm black on black on black on black, melanated. Look at this skin. Get into this skin. I'm real
Feel
delicious.
all of this
All of it.
skin.
Mm. But for the past 10 years, I exclusively dated white men. I know. And in that space, I mean, and just to be completely transparent, it's because I had a lot of internalized racism. Like I did not want to be black. I did not love my blackness. I did not love my melanation and the wisdom that is in this experience, in this lived experience. And I really valued whiteness, you know. And so, I mean, I was like white adjacent. But in those spaces and being in intimate relationship with white men, we're gonna talk about relationship in relationship with white men. Um, I experienced a lot of their privilege and a lot of their privilege of ignorance, like the ability, the privilege of not knowing, you know, and that being fine.
But
Specifically when
isn't
it
that
bump.
what white privilege is?
Well, I guess so.
like like it just feels like white people can be oblivious to the things that are happening around them because they don't have to worry about shit like we would. Like I got to keep my head on the swivel. I got to remember that I'm the only black person in the space. I got to remember there's white people over there. I got to be mindful of Karen and her kid and how she's going to act crazy. Like I feel like white privilege is just an obliviousness to the world around you. That's what it feels like to me.
Mm. Would you also say that it is like the ultimate centering, where you are always in the center? There is, if we're in a lot of indigenous people, African people, we work a lot in circles, right? And on the circle, everybody is an equal contributing factor to it. But whiteness, to me, feels like it's always in the center. So the energy is always going into them. How do you feel about that? What does that make you think of?
Like I think there's something there because in my head I am like my blackness is rooted in actively raging against the idea that whiteness is the center of anything. Like that
Mm.
is work that I put into my lived experience as a black person, is that whiteness does not center or ground anything in my life. If anything, my life is grounded in an expression of blackness that is so deep that there is no space for anything else. There's no space for anything that is not melanated.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So if that is the case, when you were in relationship with these white men, how did you hold space for them?
I didn't.
Oh.
No, I didn't. Like I didn't. I can hold space for an individual. Like I held space for we'll say his name is Chris.
Mm-hmm.
The person that I'm thinking of, white guy that I dated. I held space for Chris the individual, but I never held space for his whiteness. Not in the way that he probably had to hold space for my blackness.
Understood.
I didn't give two shits about the fact that his mama was white, his cousins was white, he ate white people food, he lived in a white neighborhood. I didn't think about any of that. He came to my space, he came to my home, he came into my life. But
Mm.
I think that the demise of our relationship, and probably the reason why people don't think I like white people now, is because there is no aspect of my life where I would want to go venture into their spaces. I remember I first moved to Atlanta. One of the odd jobs that I did was I had to clean houses. That's how I supported myself for almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
And the agency I worked for, every other weekend, I had to work. Saturday, I would get up and we'd have a client or wherever. And I went to these white people's house. This is a white family, but it's Saturday, so all the people are home. And usually when I'm cleaning houses, ain't nobody there. It's just me and one person, and me
Mm-hmm.
and the other person outnumber them by far. But this one, it was like a husband and a wife, two kids, and a dog. It was the whitest experience I've ever had in my
Mm.
life. But what baffled me about it was that all the things that happen in a black community on a Saturday morning. Your mama bumping Anita Baker. It's
Yes.
summertime, so somebody yelling, you go out or you stay in. You ain't gonna be running in and out of my house. We ain't air conditioning the whole neighborhood. Like somebody barbecuing and then somebody's loud music from down the street. All those hallmarks of black culture were so absent in this space, and it was weird. It was absolutely weird for me to walk into this white neighborhood with this white family and see what their life looked like on Saturday. And it was, to me, it was cultureless. And I
Mm.
and I realized in that moment that I don't create space in my life where whiteness can be elevated and appreciated.
Okay. Can we just take a breath for that? I just need a breath.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that is so opposite of my experience in that whiteness. I integrated into that space. And
Were you like a Oreo? Were you like a Oreo?
I was, I mean, my dance teacher said I was a snow bunny. I'm like, hell, whatever. But I'm like, and snow bunny is like, black. I don't know if it's a drug reference. You know what I'm saying? Because snow bunny, but
No. Snow Bunny is someone of color, specifically gay men of color who like white boys. Those are Snow Bunnies.
okay.
But
Well, I
all of
guess I
those
was
terms to me are derogatory because people say rice queen for people who like Asian people. I think all of those are derogatory. But yeah, Snow Bunny is somebody who like white boys.
okay. Well, I was snow bunny ended up, honey. I was out here skiing in the bunnies. But anyway,
Really?
yeah, I know. And it was because like with black men, I got so much slack from black men from being effeminate. Naturally, I am a divine feminine being in a masculine vessel, right? My spirit is feminine. And I've always experienced the world as this duality. And so with white men, they honored that, right? Because in black community, I was too gay, right? In white community, I was too black, but they could get with my greatness. And because I didn't like my blackness at that time, I overly identified with my gayness. And that's why I found my acceptance, right? I really just wanted to be accepted and like seen and supported, right? And like, it's great that you're you. Like, love your gayness, not my blackness. We couldn't have that conversation. That's way too much, right? But because I didn't want to have that conversation with myself, it was fine. I could just be.
And so you couldn't have those conversations with black men, is what you're saying?
I could not have those conversations. No, I could not have conversations about my gayness with black men. No, or specifically
Okay.
my effeminate nature, my feminine nature, because they wanted me to be more, or it was just to have me as to satiate some sexual desire or fantasy. And I am like, you got to turn me on mentally before you can turn me on physically. If we can't have an intellectual conversation and actually talk about something, ain't no boom bazooka John.
But you didn't feel that same fetishization from white men that
Again,
you say black men would fetishize your femininity. You didn't think white men were fetishizing your blackness?
I did not.
Do you
Because
think that
to
now?
me, I think partly yeah. Partly yeah. I think
Okay.
also I think they also know, like, I'm magical, right? Black men could not see my magic. White men could see my magic. And again, they saw the parts of me that I desired to be seen, right? To amplify. And because they gave me that, I gave them me.
The interesting thing is while I am on the opposite end at the time, because I don't think you're saying that this is what you think right now, but what I hear you saying is this is your experience when you were dating outside of your race, right?
Absolutely.
The same thing is I can say the same thing. Like when I dated Chris, there was no struggle about anything. Chris was a bottom at the time. I said I was a top. I didn't feel like I had to force myself to be anything but Jay when I was dating him. He allowed me to be the version of me that I presented to him, and that was enough. Whereas a lot of times in black spaces with black people, I always, or for a long time, I felt like I had to perform something because I am a fishy, like I don't bottom that often, but I am a fishy boy. And I love that about me now, but for a long time, I had to perform masculinity so that I could get the boy that I liked and be able to fuck him in the booty. Or I had to perform. Or I grew up in the suburbs. I'm from Dallas, Texas, but I hail from Flower Mound, Texas, which is the whitest place on earth. And I felt like I had to be a lot more hood and a lot more southern and a lot more country when I'm trying to pull these Atlanta boys. I can't go in talking all proper. Now, granted enough, I am very country now, but like I always felt like I had to be blacker to be
Mm,
around black people. And I never felt that around white people and
Usher.
think that's just, I think that's because they have no frame of reference around how black shit can get. Like if shit gets too black for white people, usually they're uncomfortable.
Mm,
Like I couldn't take Chris, the person I'm talking about, Chris. I couldn't take him to my grandmama's house for Thanksgiving or nothing. He would be like culture shock overload. The second that he sees some collard greens and some chitlins, and like
mm.
even though we don't eat chitlins, but I couldn't take him in those spaces and do that kind of shit because he didn't have any frame of reference. But for black people who know what it is to be black, I felt like I always had to be blacker to hold space among my kinsmen, my comrades, my people,
I feel
until
that.
stopped giving a fuck about that shit.
Right. I completely feel that. Can we go back to relationships? Because we don't like,
Yes,
it's all in the same vein, but we like to trail off.
yes,
So I'm curious
yes.
about um boom. So the word relationship, because I get a lot of questions about this. People get into relationships and they kind of just die, as in they stop working on themselves, they stop like getting pretty, they stop like doing all of the things that they did in order to attract and magnetize their mate. They're like, we in a relationship, we done made it, I'm done. Versus being in a relationship, right? Being in a relationship where you are in process, right? Understanding that we are growing, that we are influencing each other, we are transforming each other, that this is a give and take. This is an exchange of energy, ideas, expansion, contraction. All of those things are happening in real time. So that's how I qualify and quantify relationship, not quantify, qualify relationship.
But do you think that
What's
shit
up?
really happens?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I think it should. I think it should, but I don't think black men are in. I don't think a lot of us. I don't want to say stuff like all black men, but I don't think a lot of us are in space where we can allow ourselves to grow and evolve. I feel like people think relationship is the end result. And to your point, that's why we end up stopping all that good shit because once we get them, we're done. And it takes a bad bitch to acknowledge that I have to continue to grow, continue to elevate, continue to evolve for this relatingship, this verb of a thing that we're doing to be good. But I don't think we do that shit. I don't think anybody in their in I think by and large we don't get in relationships. We be like, let's grow together. Not enough of us say shit like that.
Well, okay. So like I'm limited in how I can respond to that because again, I ain't dated no black man in eons, right? However, I do know that those same kinds of men that was trying to talk to me back then is still trying to talk to me right now. Um, and no, they're not interested in that. They not. But also, I think if a person does not have that kind of relationship with themselves, if they aren't thinking like I am my work in progress, like I am on a journey, and that when I'm with another being in loving relationship, intimate relationship, reflective relationship, that this is my this is an experience of potential exponential growth. Was that a lot of words?
I mean, I hear the alliteration, and you're gonna have to help me
Mhm.
understand it though.
Okay. Like being mm, relationships help us grow. Like we know ourselves by who we are connecting with. So you and I having this conversation, we're influencing each other. We're changing each other. We're expanding. We're contracting ideas, understandings, all of that things just from a conversation. When you're in an intimate relationship with someone, you get to do that on a deeper level, right? More
Mm-hmm.
consistency. Again, if you're intentional, depending on your intention. Your intention can be companionship. We just in this relationship to fill each other's space. And a lot of people get into relationship to do that. I want to feel this. I don't want to be single. That's what they say. I want my man. Where he at? I'm like, oh, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going. I mean,
So
I fully agree that I think that a lot of us get in relationship. I fully acknowledge relatingship is a different thing than a relationship that I have experienced. But I have been guilty of getting in relationship to overcome loneliness. But but lots of things happen in our culture to overcome many things. Like I remember I have been guilty of fucking people to because my money ain't right, get dating somebody who's not appropriate uh because I'm lonely, getting into a commitment with people that are not appropriate for me because they're cute and I'm insecure. Like we have a whole lot of raw edges that are hanging out culturally that I don't think we take enough time, effort, and energy and intention to mend. And what happens is these broken people, myself included, get with other broken people, and we end up in these failed relationships. And then we make these bold statements like like niggas ain't shit and like I'm just get me a white man when really you
mm-hmm.
brought shattered pieces into the equation, sis. And for that reason, that is why I think we need to put a lot more effort and attention and intention behind what it means to be single. I don't think we
Mm.
glamorize single life in our culture anymore. Like when you say you haven't dated a black man in forever, you're not saying that you would not date a black man. You just saying you
Mm.
haven't, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And so
I mean,
to that end, if I could just interject one thing,
go
I'll
ahead,
say
go
to
ahead, go
that
ahead.
end, you saying you doing exactly what I think people should be doing more of is putting intention behind the time that you are living right now so that we don't have these fucked up situations in the future. Somebody asked a question in the comments. It says, "So what about people that know a person is not on the same level as them emotionally or spiritually, but you're willing to grow with them as they process?"
Okay. What about it? I mean, if you're willing to do the work, if both of you if both of you are willing to do the work to be in process with each other, I think that's great because that's also a thing in relationship. You're not always going to be at the same level, right? But a part of having the gift of growing with someone is that you also can extend grace. Like, babe, I know that we are not here right now. It's okay that we kind of like off and about. But if we have our intention to level and meet somewhere in the middle, then we both can rise together or go deeper together. Like, is that not what we desire? Is that not what that's what I want? Shit. I want that. I want to go deeper. I want to go wider and I want to go higher. You see? But if my partner is not willing to do that work, if they're not willing to be sensitive, if they're not willing to pray with me, like we're not going to go anywhere. It's just not going to work because the work has to be done. It works. Spirit work when you work it. So if you're not doing the work, it ain't gonna happen. Knowing is dead without doing. You need both. That's why it's called wisdom. Wisdom is applied knowledge. Just knowing is nothing.
Now, I will say, because I do have a slightly different take on that. First,
Mm-hmm.
I have been on record by saying I don't believe in dating potential. I don't want to date who you could become tomorrow because um because I don't know who that person is. I've never experienced him or her or them. Um I have to fall in love with who you are right now. And if I am unfulfilled with who you are right now, and I'm holding on to this dream that you will get your shit together or that you will learn or grow or evolve, then a part of me is also going to try to control what you evolve into, and that's not healthy.
I
If
say,
evolution is a process that everyone takes individually, and I need to be able to love you at every step of the process. That's the first thing. But the second thing I also believe is, if I have a master's degree in me
hmm
and you have a second degree education in you, second grade education in you, there's not a lot you can teach me about me because you haven't studied you long enough. You got
sure.
to graduate in the school of you so that then your you-ness can help my me-ness evolve. But if you're not willing to study who you are and what you want and how you arrive in this world, then there's not much you can impart into my life. I might be able to impart into you because I have a graduate degree in me. But it's like my dad is a doctor. He's a PhD.
Come on.
And I remember when I was little, one time I was like 10 years old, and I was sitting with him, and he was sitting with another doctor who was also Kenyan and whatnot. And the conversations they had were so transformative
Mm.
because it was the two of them feeding off of each other's intellect, right? I listened to my dad talk to my dad 12 years later, came into my economics class in high school. Very different conversation because he is a PhD and I'm trying to get a high school diploma. We had different conversations. We got together on different level. We weren't able to connect. And that taught me that I can only evolve if I'm around people who have done the work in their own life. Like, you got to have a degree in you before you try to help me evolve. And I have to do the same. The responsibility is the same for me. Somebody said something long. Hold on.
Okay.
What
And
what you
while you
got to
looking
say
for
to
that,
that?
I completely agree with everything you said. And when I say, like, be willing to do the work and be in process, that's not to say, if first of all, if I'm in relationship with you already, for me, there has to be some kind of baseline that we're working from, right? So, like, I'm not going to get in a relationship with someone who is emotionally unavailable. I'm not. I'm not going to get in a relationship with someone who does not have a spiritual practice. For me, I'm not, because I can't teach you that. You know what I'm saying? I can't teach you how to be. I don't want to do. I don't want to do that work. Some people are willing to do that work. That's all I'm saying. There's some people that want to do that with you. I don't want to do that with you.
Yeah.
But if you are willing, I'm saying, if you're willing to do it, and it causes you no great harm, and it also honors your sovereignty, you as the supreme power in your own life, then by all means, do that.
The supreme power in your own fucking life. That's
Come
the
on.
tweet. That's the tweet. Like, I remember I was in therapy. Hold on, what's this say? The problem with doing the work or working on anything is that it starts with the person who is already broken. It's not my responsibility to heal, invest, or make a bet on those that haven't reached their full potential. I'm not buying a house in a soon to be neighborhood, so I'm not getting into a relationship with someone who isn't where I need them to be. Baby, what I said, that's a word right
Come on.
there.
That is. That
That
is.
is a moment where you need to send a collection basket. But you know what happens? You know what happens? To that person's point, Facebook user, I think that people, a lot of us, get in these relationships. No, let me not say a lot of us. I I have gotten into these relationships to fix my insecurities, like, or not fix, to mask my insecurities. I was like, when I clean houses earlier, I talked about cleaning houses. I was not in a financially good space. And so I got with somebody who was fine as hell and just accepted my bullshit. Because I
Mm.
said, if I am insecure about my finances, I can just get with this fine ass man, and no people ain't gonna be none the wiser. He was able to make me or help me cover up my insecurities. Now, did he help me deal with my insecurities? No, because I didn't let him. I wasn't vulnerable enough to meet him in that space. But I think a lot of us end up not sitting with ourselves long enough to know what we demand in a relationship. Not saying I want this and you gonna give it to me, but people come with, a rule book
Mm-hmm.
and a instruction manual. And if you can't read the language it's written in, then first, if I can't read my own instruction manual, that's the problem. If I can't read my own instruction manual, there's that. But if you can't read my instruction manual, then that's a whole different issue that probably ain't got shit to do with you.
And also, like as we're navigating the nuance of relationship and relationship, right, there is also, I feel like a lot of us miss the point where we are also asking ourselves, well, what am I bringing to this relationship? What is my baggage? What is my trauma? What are the things that I still need to do work in that, like, if you get me, honey, it's a package deal. I'm coming with all my shit too, you know, and
Yes.
honoring that I
Yes.
too am a work in process, right? I too am doing this. I too am combing through me, right? And also like asking, well, what is the other person also bringing, and understanding that when we bring that, 1 plus 1 in my mind equals 3, because there's your unique energy, there's my unique energy, and you put us together and it makes a third, right? That is this thing of whatever that requires something else to uphold. Right? So if I am working on me, in me, with me, in the reflection of you, I also have to honor that this third thing also needs some of my energy and intention.
I I think that I talked about that on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Just FYI, you own my pew now. You own my
Okay.
row pack
Oh shit. Oh shit.
because,
Also time.
bec- yeah, we there.
Okay.
But
Okay,
I
great.
do want to I do want to say this, and then I'll let you respond if you have to, and then I do want to talk about like what the people can expect from us. But
Mm-hmm.
I believe that every relatingship, because I think that a relatingship is this upgraded, evolved version of connection and commitment. I hear that and I receive that as you say it. But I think every relatingship has to have a purpose. And oftentimes, we as black men get in connection with people and we don't give it purpose, even though we give so many other things in our life purpose. Black gay men will go and get a 50th degree because they believe that it will help them get more money, or we will get a certification because it'll achieve some other goal, or we will buy a house because it's a good investment. We have a because it is a ending to everything except our relationships. We just get
Mm-hmm.
with this man because he cute or he makes me feel good. Like this relationship, yes, he should make you feel good. He should make you happy and bring your life more joy than it had otherwise. But the connection between these two people has to serve a purpose that's bigger than either of us. Because if I can do bad all by myself, then what do I need you for? And a lot of my relationships have failed because the two people involved did not have a purpose for this connection. So we ended up just getting together because we thought they were cute, or the sex was good, or we cuddled at night, or their body was warm, or now I got this big ass body. And then that loses its luster. That loses its excitement, and then next thing you know, we broke up because, oh well, I'm done with that. I've discovered it. The forbidden frontier ain't so forbidden no more, which is a whole different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But did you have one add 2 cents?
Two, just quick 2 cents. Yes, the importance of intention. And also like something that I've discovered is that we have this fairy tale Disney ideology about love. It's gonna be Prince, Princess, Prince X, charming. That's gonna come and rescue us, and we're gonna live happily ever after. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And something that Dr. Mama Maya Angelou says: love liberates, right? And we try to hold people captive in our love, when actually it's the true love is like, babe, I love you, whether you here or you across the ocean. Whatever it is, I want you to be your greatest, most expansive, dynamic, powerful, purposeful self. And I love you in the support of that. And that does not, if I would love for it to be with me now, but if it cannot be, that's okay, because I can still love you, because love is limitless. Right? True love, I feel. And again, Dr. Mama Angelou said it the best. So I just encourage us to first find limitless love within self. A part of our challenge as Black, queer, gay, same gender loving, melanated men, male embodied beings, all the things, is that we haven't done enough self-love pouring into self. So if I can't love me wholeheartedly, love my queerness, love that I enjoy wearing dresses, love that I love to wear makeup and lipstick, and I feel good in that, I feel empowered in that, and that does not make me any less of a quote unquote Black man or whatever the hell that is, right? I'm me. And that is love. Me being me is love. Ooh, shit. That's all I got to say.
But the funny thing is, as queer as you say you're expressing right now, I have on a ton of makeup. So there's that. a ton of makeup. I got on this is about as full face as I get. But so I do want to talk really quick, because I see that there are several people listening, several people watching. What do y'all want to hear us talk about? A lot of people, this is the first time seeing Ra and I have a conversation. What topics are salient in our culture? Let us know in the comment section. We want to do Black Light Matters as a podcast, a conversation weekly, and it's going to be live
Strongly.
on YouTube. Strongly. It's going to be on Dear Black Gay Man YouTube channel, and then we're going to have an after conversation where I cuss a little bit more.
Yes, and that will be
occurring. You cuss a lot. You cuss a lot either way.
I do. I mean, people feel like you can't be spiritual and hood. It's like, but I am the meeting place of all of those things. So it gives what it's supposed to give. You can join us for our talk back. It gives
what it needs to have been given.
You can join us for our talk back on my Instagram live at Ra the Wizard, RAH the Wizard, like down there. You see it, read that shit, copy it, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do, and join us over there so that we can deep down dive into some more stuff and have more of a conversation with you.
I'm excited. So we will be back next Thursday. Today is Wednesday, but we will be back next Thursday for a different topic right here on YouTube. Black
November 3rd.
November the 3rd. I love everyone for listening. Thank you so much for supporting, and we'll see you on Instagram.
Peace. Wow.
Don't start saying nothing crazy.
It's all good. Let y'all see. I could just, honey, we have a little outro music. I'm dancing.